needed, and we need to keep on participating in this great initiative. So if you next slide, go to the next slide. All right, so just some reminders and ground rules. So this meeting is recorded to be posted on our website. So just so you know, your smiling faces will be on if you would like it to be, but we do understand if it's not. Totally understand that. And then some of the ground rules are step up and step back. So really just being engaged and open to the conversations, and respect each other's time and expertise, support each other's learning processes, and elevate the expertise of lived experience. So we know we all have our expertise in our areas, and we have some that has lived experience. So we want you to bring that to this space on today. So the next one is ready to listen and understand and support. So we want to make sure that we are reminded of that. And lastly, remember our North Star, which is the health of all people and neighbors in the neighborhood in Milwaukee. All right. So those are our reminders and ground rules. Next slide. So for on our agenda for today, we have the objectives here. So we already did the reminders and the ground rules. We're going to do some brief introductions and a mindfulness exercise, because we know this work is heavy and it's a lot, and we want to make sure that we are present and taking care of ourselves. So we're going to take a moment to do that. We're going to also introduce our community co-chair, and just to kind of give you a little bit of information and background on her. And then we're going to have one of my colleagues to come up, and she's going to introduce herself and talk about the health equity and racism and health equity presentation for MKE Elevate. And then we're going to go over some of the goals in our activities and action planning, and then we'll have a group discussion on how we what are the supports that we need to implement these strategies. Then we're going to wrap up. So again, we have a jam-packed agenda, and we are looking forward to the conversation and the information. Next slide. I'm going to call for Quinn to come and facilitate the introductions.
Thank you, Robert. And thank all of you who are here today. We'll do quick introductions. We were planning to do it per table, just small conversations at the table, but I think it'll be cool for us to just go around the room. Introduce who you are, who you work for, and a fun fact about yourself. I'll start. My name is Quinn Taylor. I work with Office of Violence Prevention, OVP, the Office of Community Wellness and Safety. I also manage our Promise Keepers. A fun fact about me is I love to cook. Courtney?
Courtney Gettier, City Milwaukee Health Department, Public Health Strategist, and I focus on substance use prevention and overdose prevention. Fun fact, I am a mother of 2 small children, 2 and 5.
Next table. David, we're doing introductions and just a fun fact about ourselves.
Jessica Butler. I am the program operations manager for Core Life. I'm out at the medical college. And you said a fun fact. Fun fact. I don't know. I'm not fun.
Okay. Good statement.
Oh,
Nice.
that's right. I'm Ellen Freeman. I'm with Vital Health. I'm a health insurance coordinator here. And fun fact about me is that I have a fascination with ugly shoes and ugly socks. Something so ugly.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Shadi Perez. I work at United Community Center and I'm a program coordinator there. And a fun fact about me. I do like cooking, but I don't have time.
Hi, my name is David Mohammed. I'm the Deputy Director of Department of Health and Human Services. I'm in Walton County. Fun fact about me is that, I used to be a nightclub DJ for about 10 years and concerts and stuff like that. Put all that aside.
Nice. Tristan Brooks, I am the Director of Partnerships and Community Engagement here at Sojourner Family Peace Center. Fun fact about me is I enjoy roller skating, quads, not in wide.
Kim Lombard, Injury Prevention Outreach Coordinator with the Greater Trauma Center. Fun fact about me, I enjoy Zumba, which is a form of like dance type of exercise.
Good morning. My name is Patrice Robinson, and I am the co-chair of the Garden Home Neighborhood Association, Public Safety Committee. Fun fact about me is I love teaching out.
Well, Thunder Rising, everyone. My name is Sarita Bauman from I'm Conflict Resilient. I'm a campaign coach and wellness consultant. And fun fact about me, I gotta move my body. Like that's just my thing. Like I walk almost every day to the point where my neighbors are like, "Oh, come on, what you want these days?" For the rest of y'all, you're every day moving. I'm like, I gotta do it. You know, I come from a situation where I was told I wasn't be able to. So it's like now that I have that option, I gotta, go full force. So that's my fun fact.
I'm Monica Moore, I'm the public health strategist with the health department, so working with MKE. So Alex and I are helping to kind of guide the process and then doing some quality improvement and accrediting work as well. I'm going to copy the fun fact. I also like to cook, especially with fresh veggies and embark on this one.
David?
How you doing? I'm David Sinclair. I am the program director for West Coast Wisconsin's Government Messenger Program. And fun fact about me, I have 14 years. Wow.
That's important to add.
Good morning, everyone. Art Hogan, Self Strategy Director with the Multi Department. Fun fact, I actually can't swim, which is not, whatever. But I actually enjoy the water, whether it's a boat or tube or whatever. So I do challenge myself to be still in the water.
Cool. Thank you all for those introductions and those fun facts. And also for being here. And thank you to the online community. Now we have a small video. Where's the video, Robert?
Hannah, can you share? Okay, yeah. And those that are on Zoom, thank you for sharing your intros and your fun facts. Truly appreciate it. And we will continue to go on with the agenda. And for those that are late, feel free to also share your intro as well. Hannah, can you share the mindfulness?
Yeah, the video.
Yep.
Yes, I will get that queued up. And then I think those who are online, you'll just have to let me know if you can hear it, because sometimes when you share video online, sometimes the sound does not work. So you should just let me know and I can adjust my audio.
Okay, and while you're doing that, I just want to give a shout out to Tristan and Sojourner Family Peace Center for allowing us to have this space for the in-person meeting, so we can give them clap. Appreciate you. And if you would like to share any logistics as well, that would be great.
Yeah, so welcome again to the Family Peace Center. We're happy to have you all here and hosting, Sojourner believes very strongly in partnerships. That's something that we're working to build, strong partnerships with other orgs in the city. So we have 11 co-located partners in the building, here. We had 15 at one point. We operated at the end of last year and beginning of this year. Just across the hall here, is the water fountain. A water cup, or if you need the restroom, just out the door to the right, immediately to the right, men's on the left. And then to just make sure that at all times for like safety purposes, when you're in the building, if you have some sort of
I think we are good to go now with the mindfulness exercise. So take a moment to listen in and participate. Be greatly appreciated. Are we ready, Hannah?
Yes, I will try the audio. And for those of you joining us virtually, you can feel free to turn your videos off if you'd like to, close your eyes and follow what the video is saying as far as just some deep breathing. You are more than welcome to participate. If you do not feel comfortable, you do not have to participate, but you can still just take these 3 minutes to breathe and take a break. However you want to use these 3 minutes is up to you, but I would recommend turning your video off just so that you can feel comfortable regardless of how you decide to participate. And then I'm going to try playing, and then someone maybe Robert, before you turn your video off, or if you're going to stay on, just give me a thumbs up that you can hear it so I can make sure the audio works. But otherwise, it's just about 3 minutes to take a deep breath and just to get comfortable and get into the space. So I will try playing and let me know if you can hear.
Full breathing. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees. Bring your attention to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the weight of your body on your chair or cushion. Make sure that your back is straight and that you're comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. While you're breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, your stomach muscles, the muscles in your face, your hands, and your legs. Let go of all the tightness in your body. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice what it feels like as it enters through your nose, goes down through your throat, filling your lungs, and back out through your nose. Notice your stomach and chest rise and fall each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. And just allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now bring your attention to the feeling of your breath in your nose. Feel your breath as it comes in and goes out. Just focus on this sensation, paying attention to each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. As you inhale, maybe your breath feels cool. And as you exhale, maybe it feels a little warmer. When your mind wanders, or if you become distracted, just notice what's going on in your head, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath, going in and out. focus on the feeling of your breath and allow thoughts and feelings to come and go in the background. Now gently bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat and open your eyes.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. Thanks so much for participating, everyone. Just taking a moment to breathe and step back and step in. We appreciate you all being here today.
Thank you, Hannah. And so now we're going to continue with the agenda. Again, the whole point of the mindfulness is to be able to be present and also to really, take yourself away from all the much needed work that's happening and to have a little bit of self-care. Hannah, if you can pull up the agenda. I believe the next on the agenda is the presentation for our MKE Elevate. Oh no, actually the co-chair. Our community co-chair we have here on today. If you mind coming, and we're going to share a little bit about her. Her name is Ali Freeman. She will be our community co-chair. She's a self-driven leader with a growth mindset and dedicated to volunteer with the ability to lead in difficult situations. Her skill set includes the natural ability to create safe spaces for people to come together and have open discussions about how we can affect change. She says she has a strong ability to show empathy while maintaining goals and adhering to policy. Over 15 years of volunteering in programs that includes working with elderly, domestic violence shelters for women and children, disabled children and adults, summer camps for at-risk teens, people living with HIV and AIDS, assisting with healthcare enrollment and active ally for the gay and trans community, homeless shelters, drug prevention and outreach programs, and hot meal programs throughout the city of Milwaukee. Wanted to introduce Ali as our community co-chair, and also wanted to if anyone polls her not being the co-chair, you can speak now or forever hold your peace. And that's also virtually as well. Ali, you want to go? We have virtual folks too.
Hey, everybody online. I'm Ellie Freeman, and I want to just say I'm so happy to be here. I ran across MKE Elevate probably sometime last year. It was just me on the Milwaukee Public Library calendar looking to see what's going on, in the community. And I ran across MKE Elevate, and I signed up to, get more information. And I really liked what was happening with MKE Elevate. So I decided to attend a few meetings and actually apply for the co-chair position for the community. So I'm very passionate about the things that I do. I'm looking forward to bringing the experience that I do have to the group, but I'm also wanting to learn a lot. We have a lot of different organizations, a lot of different people. So I'm looking forward to just being part of the team. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we are excited to have Ali on the team. And again, if anyone opposed, you can speak now or I'll give a moment to see if there's any opposed in the chat. It doesn't look like it, so great. So now we're gonna, if we can go to the next slide. So the purpose of today's meeting is to lead with one or two action items, excuse me, to do by the end of the year, and for the next couple of years for our current plan. We want to create a foundation of shared understanding. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Quinn Taylor is our co-chair as well. But we did put out a ask for anyone that would like to, be a co-chair with us, and so there was interest, but we end up Ali becoming the community co-chair. All right. Yeah, thanks for the question. Understanding for the purpose of today's meeting is understanding status of the strategies identified, and then leave with a sense of belonging, and that your time and expertise are valued. The next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to Annika, my colleague, to talk more about MKE Elevate and the vision and mission, and to talk more regarding some of the work that we're doing in that space. Annika.
Hey, everybody. So Alex and I have been working with our steering committee, and we wanted to update the vision and mission. So we actually have a steering committee member, Radea, on Zoom with us. So thanks for joining, Radea. But basically we had an old vision that was just safe and healthy neighborhoods, and that came from the 2016 to 2017 CHIP cycle. But since then, we've had a lot of changes just overall. We've had racism declared a public health crisis. So we really wanted to make sure we're centering equity. So our updated vision that the steering committee identified is a Milwaukee where all people are thriving in safe, healthy, and equitable neighborhoods. So not just safe and healthy neighborhoods, but neighborhoods where people have equitable access to resources and can really thrive and live their best lives. And then for the updated mission, we hope to accomplish this by aligning strategies and building power, partnerships, access to resources, and opportunities for collective advocacy in our 3 community identified priority areas. So that's what we'll be talking a little bit later when we do the kind of round robin activity. How can we align strategies, but also what are some opportunities for collective advocacy to really make some progress? Next slide. So we do have addressing racism and working towards health equity as the overarching priority for Elevate. And then we have the 3 priority areas underneath that. So we really are hoping to infuse an anti-racist lens and equity indicators throughout everything that we do. And when we look kind of, what are we defining as racism? We look at Dr. Kamara Phyllis Jones. Her definition is racism is a system of structuring opportunity and assigning value based on the social interpretation of how one looks, which is what we call race. And this can unfairly advantage individuals and communities, and can sap the strength of the whole society. So this is really something that we're wanting to kind of hold close as we're doing the work, so that we can undo the racist systems and structures that have been built up. And we do have a declaration that I believe both the city and county did in 2019. So we kind of use that to help guide our work moving forward. Next slide. So a few ways that we're attempting to center equity within our process. We really are trying to get to the root causes. So I know with Robert, we did a root cause activity to try to get to what is actually, leading to unsafe neighborhoods. So that we can really make sure we're having high impact strategies. where we attempt to center the voices and experiences of Black, Indigenous people of color. We have asked in our question of recruiting steering committee and action team co-chairs, we ask people to identify how they are personally and professionally working to address racism. So we just try to kind of always keep it top of mind. Next slide. So with the help of the steering committee, we came up with 3 overarching goals that hopefully can help us move towards health equity. So the first one is increase household income of Black and Hispanic or Latinx residents. Looking at the data points, we know that the median household income for Black residents in Milwaukee was just over $30,000. For Hispanic Latinx residents, it was just over $40,000. And then for non-Hispanic white residents, it was just over $60,000. So that's a pretty broad range. And we want to kind of bring up the median income for everybody in the city. So we hope to do this by increasing job readiness. We're hoping to pilot a universal basic income project, and then hope to increase living wage. So in order to do this, we are looking to identify who's already doing career and academic skill building so that we can just kind of uplift that work. The steering committee will help us hopefully try to do a pilot for UBI, Universal Basic Income, and then the steering committee will also advise on doing a little bit of research into what an equitable income would be. Because, you know, I'm sure you've all heard the fight for 15. When you look at like a household of 4 people, $15 an hour isn't actually going to get them where they need to go. So we want to have a clearer idea of what it would take for Milwaukee residents to have a living wage. Next slide. Goal 2 is to raise the life expectancy and quality of life for Black and African-American Milwaukee residents. And Alex, my counterpart, she does a really good job of sort of explaining that we're trying to be intentional about not always centering whiteness. So it's not that we want to decrease the gap between Black and white, but that we want to lift up the life expectancy, especially for Black residents in the city. So when we look at the data, we know life expectancy for Black residents in Milwaukee County was 70 years old, compared to non-Hispanic whites was just around 78 years old. So about an 8-year difference. And we know that that was exacerbated by COVID-19. So Black residents make up 26% of the county, but 52% of COVID-related deaths. So the 2 objectives we have for this are do research to better understand what are the key drivers of life expectancy. So the steering committee will help to lead that. And then also identify a quality of life measurement. We know that there are some out there, but we really want to have an intersectional lens and kind of see how do different aspects of somebody's identity and life experience impact quality of life, and how do we measure that. Next slide. So the third goal under their overarching area of addressing racism and health equity is to increase civic engagement and knowledge of for Milwaukee residents to participate in local and state level voting. When we look at the data, we know in 2022, voter registration among adults was 68%, which was a 4% decline since 2018 and a 9% decline compared to 2014. So that's going in the wrong direction. We want to be increasing voter registration. There's actually been a lot of discussion within public health lately that being civically engaged directly improves health because you have a say in what society looks like, which can create a healthier society, create more access to resources, and just overall well-being. So the 2 objectives here are to increase voter registration and voting. This is where we need to build partnerships. We're hoping to connect with the League of Women Voters, the Urban League, Expo, and then Block. The second objective is expand knowledge about local and state politics. So some strategies would be Civics 101 training, working with the advocacy community. So we have a whole list of potential partnerships. And so these are just the 3 overall goals that the steering committee identified. We know we have a lot of work to do, but we hope that at the end of the 5-year cycle, when we come to 2028, we'll have a better understanding of, you know, what does it take to increase life expectancy? What does quality of life look like? what is a good living wage for Milwaukee, but then also we hope that we would have increased voter turnout and voter engagement, as well as knowledge about civics within the city. So next slide. I think that was all that we had for this section. Oh, shared language. So we also know that as we're working on equity, it's really important to all have a common understanding of words. So, you know, we talked about what the definition of racism is according to Dr. Jones. But we have a few other terms that help to guide both the vision and mission and what we hope to just continue to talk about. Next slide. Okay, so this is going to maybe be a little bit tedious, but we think it's helpful. When we talk about anti-racism, we look at Ibram Kendi's work. He defines anti-racism as the active process of identifying and eliminating racism at the individual, organizational, institutional, and cultural levels. This is done by changing systems, organizational structures, policies, practices, attitudes, so that power is redistributed and shared equitably. It's an approach and not an endpoint. So this actually is part of the health department's strategic plan. So you might hear the commissioner, other people talking about how the health department is really striving to be anti-racist. So this is how we're defining it, really trying to kind of dismantle systems and redistribute power. We use the term BIPOC, which stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. Just we're mindful of not using the term minority because we know that actually doesn't apply for Milwaukee. So we've shifted to using the term BIPOC. Equity is just and fair inclusion into a society where all can participate, prosper, and reach their full potential. Since we do have healthy food access within the built environment work group, we wanted to define the term food apartheid. If you have questions, Hannah can speak to this a bit more, but food apartheid is the limited access to affordable, healthy food, and it's driven by systemic racism. Next, we have health equity, which is the state in which everyone has a fair and just opportunity to attain their highest level of health. So I'll just leave it at that. Next slide. Then we have justice. Justice is the process required to move us from an unfair, unequal, or inequitable state to one which is fair, equal, or equitable. Liberation. This is something that the steering committee discussed quite a bit because we weren't sure if we were ready to say in our vision and our mission that we're working towards liberation within Milwaukee. So it's defined as the progression toward or the conscious or unconscious state of being in which one can freely exist, think, dream, and thrive in a way which operates outside of traditional systems of oppression. Liberation acknowledges history, but does not bind any person to disparate systems or outcomes. It's a cultural solidarity, respect, and dignity. So it's definitely something that we're striving to, but ultimately the steering committee felt like we kind of wouldn't be able to shore up. Yep. Right. Yeah. So we ended up not putting it in the vision or mission because it is sort of a lofty goal. Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah, I think that's what we're hoping to discuss over the next 5 years. Because it's something that is maybe a feeling that we would like to get to, but realistically, like working for city government, we know that we have a lot of like red tape and barriers that we run up against. But I'm curious, do you have thoughts on how we might be able to incorporate it into this action team?
Using our social capital to try to navigate a lot of red tape, so to speak. Also, I think beyond that, it shouldn't doesn't be ideology of liberation because a lot of times we use words as fluff words, buzzwords.
Yep.
You know, when the implementation really comes from finding the root source for liberation. You want to use liberation. I think there's another word you guys use, food apartheid. They sound great.
Yeah.
In theory. Yep. But those of us that are actually working on the ground level, that actually interact with people, have no clue as to what this is. And I think this could be a little more people friendly because ultimately it is the people that are going to benefit from it. Yep.
Yep.
And as well as being able to, they can identify it in
Yeah.
a real way.
Yep.
and grab hold. So
Yep.
this is us.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Well, this works hand in hand with like being anti-racist,
Mhm.
right? If there are policies and red tape and liberation,
Mhm.
those things need to be dismantled.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So like if we are saying this is the pathway to liberation and we run up against the obstacle,
Mhm.
that obstacle needs to.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, and so we acknowledge that we're probably not going to remove all the obstacles by 2028, but we hope to. Maybe. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think we got any voices.
Mhm.
We got any people running operations and systems and structure.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of where the liberation piece has to come in. We
Mm-hmm.
have to really look at what those systems and structures are.
Mhm.
You know, when they built the Panama Canal, they knew that we were gonna get faster ships, faster boats. And so what they had to do, they had to expand the canal.
Mhm.
And I think that's the vision
Mhm.
of expanding, you know, what we're trying to do and accomplish this.
Mhm.
In 5 years, it should take 5 years to figure out what systems are. We already can identify, I think that's what's in the room, to try to identify what systems are in place that slow down process of progress.
Mhm.
So I think, if we attack the head on the root, I think we can really do something.
Mhm. Yeah. Love that.
As I'm listening, I'm also thinking about all of the new legislation that just happened in the state.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, the people online are not capturing, so
Oh,
I'll just quick recap maybe a couple of the comments. So we've just been having some discussion about liberation. There was a comment that, acknowledging the kind of the red tape within the city, could potentially be a crutch, and that shouldn't prevent us from continuing to strive towards that. And then what was your
and
comment?
now with the new legislation that has taken place up in the state,
Mhm.
and how is it going to now take away?
Right.
Because we're not even sure the equity office will, exist based on what has just happened. with
Right.
legislation. So
Yeah.
how to come back
Yes. Yep.
now. Well, with the agreement of the dollars.
The sales tax.
Oh, got it.
That it prevents funding.
Exactly.
So there was just another comment that with the new sales tax legislation that can prevent diversity, equity, and inclusion work. So just kind of acknowledging additional barriers that have come into place.
I just want to add, to the piggyback off what you were saying as well too, that we also have to be able to embody these things as well too, and also look at the mental aspect of it as well. Because oftentimes we put our own limited beliefs on ourselves before, so kind of like with us discussing like, hey, we got 5 years. 5 years is a long time. I mean, we got children that are going into kindergarten. I mean, we have children that are being born into this right now. To be able to go ahead and also talk to about what's happening. So I mean, I definitely feel like a lot of this can be done, but we also have to go back and look at the mentality of the people that have been here in the past. And say like, hey, you know what, we are not in that space anymore mentally. We need to go ahead and move forward, but we're already in a situation right now that we are basically trying to dig ourselves out of from prior things that have gone on.
So just another comment that we shouldn't be limiting ourselves mentally, that there could be a lot that could be accomplished in 5 years. Right. So I think in the interest of time, we'll keep chugging along. We will send out the slides. So if you wanted to see all of the definitions, you can see those. Hannah, can you just move us to the next slide? So I'll just end with the thriving definition, which is what we ended up including in the vision statement. So it's a dynamic process that goes beyond well-being to include individual and collective growth and grounding and agency. So this was just kind of where we landed in terms of feedback from the steering committee, but I think we're definitely open to like continuing to push ourselves. I believe our next steering committee meeting is in October. And so we'll bring this feedback back to them and just continue to try to push ourselves because we definitely.
Real quick, also,
Yep.
I think you also add cultural competence.
Okay.
Not
Milwaukee is such a diverse place.
Yep.
And when we talk about the needs of healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
each demographic has certain special needs.
Yep.
For healthcare.
Yep.
Or not healthcare, just health in general.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, community violence issues,
Mhm.
poverty issues.
Mm-hmm.
Just, Medicaid, Medicare. Each culture has different needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about, what we're displaying here
Mm-hmm.
is that we have to be culturally competent.
Yep.
In who's receiving the services and how these services are implemented.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, not to piggyback off like the anti-racism piece,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't say anti-racism.
Mhm.
You have the level of understanding of culture.
Yep.
That comes through.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we do have that in the maternal and child health goals, and I think we have it in these goals as well. So that's a great segue to pass it back to Robert to talk specifically about this action team's goals.
Thank you so much, Annika. And everyone that has participated is definitely appreciative. These thought-provoking questions really helps us to drive to do the intentional work that we're anticipating and doing. So thank you so much. We're going to start with just the definition of the safe and supportive communities, just to get make sure everyone understands clearly what we are wanting to achieve, which is we are the ability to feel safe and supported in communities free of violence, with resources to prevent trauma before it occurs, support positive mental health, and prevent substance misuse, which is critical to community health. That was our thought as the action team when we came together to talk about some of these initiatives and these needs in the community, instead of it focusing more so on the safety and violence prevention. We wanted to be a collective of things that we can overcome collectively for the work that we all are doing. So next slide. So our first goal, and so I'm going to go over the goal and just the objectives, and then in our activities we will see more of the strategies, and we will discuss some of the strategies. And we do have already some implementation partners that has signed on, and we truly appreciate those that has already signed on for as implementation partners. But we are definitely looking for more because we can't all do it alone. We have to do this as a collective. And so we greatly appreciate those who have interest. So feel free to let us know so we can talk more about that. So the first goal is around interpersonal, intimate partner violence prevention, which is by 2028, we will increase efforts at the individual, relationship, community, and societal levels to prevent sexual and domestic violence before it occurs. So our objective is to build community capacity to respond. And our second one is to create growth culturally responsive approach. Next slide. Thank you. And our next goal is around crime and neighborhood safety, which by 2028, we will support the increase of fostering safe neighborhoods. And our objectives is increase access to care, offer community trainings, and lastly, strengthening capacity of coordination of violence prevention efforts. And again, we will go over the strategies in our activity. We have for everyone to touch a little bit on how we can collectively work on these strategies. And again, appreciate the implementation partners that we already have in place. Just to share a couple of them, we have Milwaukee County Department of Health and Human Services, the Milwaukee Healthcare Partnerships, City Transformation Center. We have the City of Milwaukee Office of Violence Prevention. We have VRFAST, City of Milwaukee. We already touched on the Office of Violence Prevention. Then we have the Village organization, MCW, and WestCare. So again, we appreciate all the implementation partners that has already signed up, and we look forward to working with them and any other agencies that is willing to come aboard. Next slide. So our goal 3 is around reckless driving and motor vehicle crashes. So by 2028, we will decrease risk factors for reckless driving. The objectives is the one objective is to increase education and safety. And so again, we'll go over those strategies as we come together in our activity. And so far we have VR Fast and City of Milwaukee Vision Zero initiative that is a part of that. Next slide. Goal 4 is around mental health. So by 2028, we will improve availability and uptake of behavioral health resources for Milwaukee. Our objective is community-based crisis response and also to provide effective access to care. And so those that we have for implementation partners, you can see on the screen, and we will talk more about those strategies in our activity going forward. Next slide. And lastly, goal 5, substance use prevention. Our goal is to, by 2028, we will promote efforts at individual, community, societal levels to increase harm reduction methods through the city. Our objective is have community events to build awareness of harm reduction resources and to increase access to harm reduction distribution services. And we do have some strategies in place and then some implementation partners. So some of those are Narcotic Anonymous, Center of Urban Population Health, City of Milwaukee Health Department, ODFAS, City and the Milwaukee County Department of Health and Human Services. So just wanted to just highlight the goals, the objectives, some of the strategies and implementation partners, because a lot of this work wouldn't be done without you all being a part of the conversations that we've had in the first 2 action teams. And then also, again, we truly appreciate those that have signed up, and we look forward to the ones that will be coming to us to sign up. So next slide. Okay, so this is the time for the action. We can take I would say about 5-minute break, and then we're going to go into our action team planning and strategy sequence activity. If we do have here in person, we have coffee, water, snacks. I'm sorry, virtual. We didn't bring any snacks for you this time, but look forward to seeing you all in about 5 minutes.
We want to put the new parking lots with Mr. Schultz and then take Mr. Schultz's original parking.
For those that are virtual, we're gonna go ahead. I hope you had a great break. We're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome back. Yes, we will. We will send the slide out. Yes, sir.
What is the metric or the rubric that you guys are using? What is the metric or the rubric you guys are using to evaluate the success of each goal that has been identified? So in 2028 is going to be an evaluation process of where we all have kind of made some progress, or is it an ongoing evaluation, and how do we measure those metrics?
Annika?
Great question. We've had a lot of discussions about it and we've kind of gone back and forth. So we have a data team that we're meeting with this Friday to sort of hash that out. So we have the plan that we'll release hopefully next month, and then we'll do a separate data and evaluation plan. So that we can set the baseline data, what we hope to see in 5 years, and then we'll plan to do an annual check-in every year to see what progress we've made.
It's just accountability, I know we all in here are professionals in what we do and how we do it, but I haven't heard anything about actually involving the community members in this process. Do we have members from the community involved in this process? Because I think they will give a little better insight other than those of us that are kind of, even though we do the work, but they're experiencing the work. And so I think the community voice is really powerful. And if we're going to really implement something like this particular plan, and their voices definitely need to be a part of this. So do we have planned community forums, or is there any type of, are we seeking out individuals from various communities, families, young people, that have, that are part of the system, or things like that, to make sure that we're guiding this in a real way that's really effective, and not just another initiative by the big think tanks in the room,
So we did community engagement last summer. We went to, I think, 47 different outreach events. We had over 2,000 community members take a survey, and that helped identify the top 3 issues. Then we did a photo campaign, so people could take a photo of something that makes Milwaukee healthy or unhealthy. We got 86 photos from different community members. We did 4 community meetings last fall. So we were at Good Hope Library, Mitchell Street Library with Spanish interpretation, Zilver School of Public Health, and then a Zoom version. So I think we had about 100 people at those meetings. And then we've continued to do various outreach throughout the community. We'll be at Mexican Fiesta this coming weekend. And then once we launch the report, we're planning to do like a week of engagement to share it with the community, get feedback. We do social media, share the website. Anybody's invited to come to action team meetings. So Robert has had 2 rounds of action team meetings that I don't know, Robert, if you've tracked like who's attending those, but I think.
So,
yeah.
So we listen to that.
Bring him the mic.
So in addition to that, are we doing in-reach, meaning like we set up various points where the community has to come and engage, or is there a sincere outreach effort where we are actually going to the community, not just our resource fairs, not just the places that patron people that may face many demographics, like we have like the Mitchell Street place where people are going to get social services, maybe Maximus, places like, just down the block, Hillside, in the projects, places that maybe down Burnham, the 20th Street, really outreach efforts to really get a sincere voice. And I like the idea of having surveys,
I think in those spaces, those are people that are actually connected to the community in certain ways. But what about those that are disengaged, that don't know how to access these? So are we creating a plan to go to those people to get the proper metrics? Because those are the ones that really genuinely are affected by the health concerns of the city.
That's a great question. David, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, right. And so I think it's important to understand that this wasn't just a display of things to do in the community that are the health strategy team at the department put together. And so, in the break, I actually talked to Robert and Annika, is like, these objectives and goals were not developed within the concepts of MHD. It was developed using the voices that are in this room, the voices that are in the community. And so the ownership of lifting these action plans and goals are still there as well. The community, the action teams. So when there are places to come out and do outreach, like let us know. Because we have the capacity to come out and do those, be in those spaces, because we have a team of maybe 9 people serving a community of over 500,000. So, you know, it's also important to let us know where we need to be in order to make sure that the community is hearing what we need to hear.
All right, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Your point and comments and questions are very important and valid. And we want to be intentional about this work. And so truly appreciate you and Annika and Marcus for just, you know, that's what it's all about, you know, communicating in this space so we can be able to learn from each other and grow from the norm. You know, we want to be innovative about this work. And so thank you so much for that. So we're going to now have our breakout session for the action planning. So we have 5 stations here in person that we're asking you to go to, that you are most driven by, to talk about the strategies and what makes sense for each year that we could accomplish and work and continue to work on. So, and then in the virtual space, we do have some facilitators as well and breakout rooms for you all. The Jamboard, I believe, was shared already to click on and make sure that you are going in and utilizing that. So I'm going to stop sharing my video and have my team to break you all out into rooms and in person. Again, if you want to choose which goals that you are most passionate about, and we have facilitators there as well. So we can go ahead and start that now. Thank you. And then we'll come back in about, let's say, 11:56. No, 11:55. Let's come back at 11:55.
How do we convert the virtual world?
So because it's so difficult to do
Yeah.
that, they're doing it like on their own. Hey. Right, and we're back. Gave some time, so a little bit extra time for those deep conversations. Truly, and is inspired to hear all the conversations in the groups.
Hey, Robert, did you want me to close out all the breakout groups?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you can.
All right,
Yes,
I'll
you
close
can.
them out.
Okay. Okay, as everyone is coming back, truly wanted to be respectful for everyone's time. I know we are a little bit over noon, and I know you all are ready either to get to lunch or have other meetings, but wanted to just come back to the group. Just gonna give it a few more minutes as the folks virtually are coming in. Okay. I'm pretty sure the virtual group has some great conversations. I'm pretty sure we over in person did as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So as they are coming in, I'm gonna keep it rolling. So just again, regarding the role of the implementation partners, we do have the form here for you, and I will send it out in a follow-up email. So as some of those is to be committed to have someone from your organization regularly to attend these action team meetings, and keeping MHD action teams updated on projects that are being worked on as it aligns with the strategies that we're working on, and then willingness to share opportunities, ask for support as it relates to implementing strategies, and in return will pass along. So feel free, if you have any questions, we're willing to meet with you regarding implementation partners. Again, we have the form, and I will send it out again for those that are interested. Next slide. So coming back to the full group discussion, I know we are a little bit over time. We wanted to talk about some of those areas that we can support in needs of some of the implementation strategies. And so we will table that, and I will send out a Google form to ask the question, and if you can provide feedback, it would be greatly appreciated, because we definitely want to be a support for you all. And I will share also the Jamboard that has the actual framework of notes, so you can write on notepads of some of those supports that you can also utilize. So I will also put that in the follow-up email. Next slide. Next step. So by September, we want to finalize the report and translate it into Spanish. We also by September want to report publicly released. We will share it to the community and community outreach. And then November 28th will be our next action team meeting, and it will be fully virtual. So I want to make sure that you all knew that, but going forward the next couple of months, we will be scheduling meetings. It can be in person or virtual to talk a little bit more about some of the strategies and objectives and how we can implement them for the next coming of years. Next slide. All right, now this is the time for anyone that has community events that would like to share. This is the time. You can either share it via now on in this space in person, or you can share it in the chat, or you can send it to my email to disperse out. I'm pretty good with making sure if there's anything shared with me, I get it out to this network. So this is the time. I give it about 30 seconds, because I know we're a little bit over time. Any updates, events?
I emailed mine, so we can share.
All right, we'll do. If there was a shout out regarding Hip Hop Week, so there's a lot of events that's going on with Hip Hop Week, so feel free to participate in those events.
We do have that community walk today, part of community walk.
Also, OPP cardio community walk at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and I think you shared it.
Yep, I also shared that as well. So just wanted to reiterate that if you are available to come at 6 o'clock, we will have the cardio community walk. So feel free to come out. I know I'll be there. So so thank you for sharing that. Any other announcements or events? Okay, all right, next slide. Oh, another one. Okay, thank you. Expo, the podcast, 4th annual DV 5K, it will be October 7th. Thanks for sharing that, Natalie. So feel free to, as that's approaching, feel free to get more information. I will also send that out in our follow-up emails. So the registry is open at expothepodcast.com. Fathers Building Fathers class at COA Golden Center, 2320 West Burleigh, Saturday. All right. Thank you so much. Our next meeting is November 23rd. There are emails are here if you have any questions or concerns. And also our website is also located on milwaukee.gov/elevate. And so thank you so much again for coming and being a part of this meeting, action team meeting. We'll definitely keep you up to date in the near future. Thank you again for attending. Have a wonderful day.